Hey, this is Jessica and Kayla, and this is our podcast on how DNA works. Did you know humans have 98% DNA common with chimpanzees and 40 to 50% with cabbage?
Really, Jessica?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that, cabbages had DNA.
Yeah, they do. And the DNA structure is one of the nucleic acids.
Yeah, and protein is a big part in DNA. One time my teacher, this is how I always remembered on a test, she always said, eat ribs and you get protein. So that's how it works for humans as well as plants and animals, except the ribs are ribosomes. They're responsible for assembling the proteins in the cell.
Well, Kayla, with you saying that, how does DNA work?
Well, Jessica, DNA is a double helix model that is just codes for our proteins. And how do you think DNA works, Jessica?
Well, DNA contains vital information that gets passed on to each successive generation. So that's like your character traits and etc.
Like your physical stuff?
Yeah, Kayla. Did you know the DNA structure guides the cell along with RNA in making the new proteins that determine biological traits, which is basically the same thing?
That's weird. DNA is super weird, Jessica.
Yeah, so Kayla, what are the 4 bases in DNA, the alphabet?
Well, on the 4 bases, they just use the first letters, A, T, C, and G, and they are, the C is for cytosine, the A is for adenine, the G is for guanine, and the T is for thymine. And also in mRNA, one of them changes to a U, which is uranium.
Okay, Kayla, did you know that Watson and Crick discovered DNA has the two sides of DNA strands?
Yeah, that's pretty cool because, it's bigger than we thought, right?
Yeah.
So, another part of DNA is enzymes, and enzymes help bring the DNA together. It's like the sugar stuff, sticks the stuff together for the sugar, so it brings it together all together. That's part of the 4 bases. So, Jessica, what is the, process for it?
DNA and mRNA protein, the process of transcription happens in the process of translation, then it turns into a protein.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. So, what are some of our physical traits?
As in your hair color, your eye color, if you have freckles or non-freckles, if your earlobes are attached or if they're not attached.
You want to hear a cool fact, Jessica? Every child receives half of its chromosomes from its mother and half from its father. We inherit traits from both sides of our family. That's why we can look like our mom, dad, brother, and sister all at the same time.
And that comes in with a dominant and recessive gene.
Yep. So, Jessica, can you tell me a little bit about hormones?
Yeah, hormones are chemical messengers between cells, including insulin, estrogen, testosterone.
Jessica. Okay. So, how does mRNA work, Jessica? I know with mRNA, it changes the T to a U to uranium, whenever it splits and unzips.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, isn't it? Whenever it unzips. We go through a lot to get the DNA we have. So, Jessica, what's one of the most interesting facts you've learned about DNA so far?
That it just basically makes you who you are.
Yeah.
Kayla, can you explain some of the toxins in DNA?
Some of the toxins in DNA? Of course I can. Well, the poisonous substances like there is bee venom and snake venom. Okay, so DNA, makes animals get that type of stuff sometimes, with snake poison and bee stings. It puts stuff in our body to harm us, but it doesn't harm them like a snake. A snake is not harmed by the poison in its body. It carries it.
So does that mean a snake can bite another snake and not harm it?
Yeah. It can eat it, but it's not going to harm it with the poisons in it.
All right, Kayla, and in DNA replication, can you explain exactly how it's done?
Of course I can. With DNA replication, it carries the information for making all the cells and proteins. The proteins implement all the functions of living organisms, and basically, with DNA replication, the first step is making the double helix. The second step is whenever it unwinds. The third step is when the single strands temporarily bind to each side. The fourth step is an enzyme complex, and basically the nucleotides pair with the complementary nucleotides on the existing side. That's A, T, G, and C. Step number 5 is to subunit the DNA polymerase. And the sixth step is to get the fragments and put them on long continuous strands. The last step is to unwind again and start all over.
So Kayla, why do you think that's important?
Well, DNA replication is very important because if our cells didn't continuously make new cells, then we would just basically die.
So basically, if everything wasn't put together, either we would look all the same or we would die.
Basically, because you need DNA replication, because if you don't have DNA replication, your skin cells will never make new cells, or any cells will never make new.
I wonder how it would be like if DNA was never really established.
Well, even if DNA was never really established, we would still have that thing in our genes, because, God gave it to us.
Don't you think it'd be crazy if we all looked alike?
That would be crazy. Then everybody would just be boring.
Basically.
So, but I would like having a twin, because the twin, even though we're, okay, let's talk about twins, Jessica. So, twins look exactly the same. Sometimes the identical twins look the same, right?
Yeah.
So,
identical twins do look the same.
Exactly.
You have fraternal and you have identical.
Yeah, fraternal and identical. Identical twins look the same, but do they have the same DNA? All the exact same?
No.
All right. Why is that?
It's because they're two different people.
Yeah, exactly. They're two different people, and they were made with two different everything except what they look like. What about fraternal twins? They don't look alike. How do you think that happens with the DNA?
Because it's basically the same thing, except they're not in the same embryo or whatever.
Yeah, because fraternal twins is two separate eggs going in at the same time.
And
or
whenever
sperm.
it's opposite way around on the same side.
Yeah, so that's cool though. Twins are cool. It'd be a good experimentation to do one on twins next time, you think?
Yeah.
So, all this talk about zombies and stuff's got me wondering what kind of DNA zombies have if they're dead.
I wonder if they even have DNA.
I know, that's weird. We're gonna have.
Because don't zombies supposedly look alike or no?
No, zombies, they still have their own characteristics, I would think. They just are just super, super, super weird, and they like brains. So, Jessica, I have another cool fact. So, interphase is a big part of DNA also.
Yeah.
The first step in interphase is G1, the second step is S, and the third step is G2. During the S phase is when DNA replication happens. And the replication of DNA happens so cells can grow and more cells can be made. That is the point of the replication. The identical cells are the daughter cells of the original cell. Everything on this earth that is biotic goes through this process.
That's really interesting. Did you know within your DNA that if your DNA structure gets mixed up or any of the codes get mixed up, it can cause disorders and diseases?
Oh yeah, like the one with the third chromosome. What is that called again?
I don't know.
Well, What about protein synthesis?
Protein synthesis begins with a transcription of DNA into messenger RNA in the nucleus. After a transcription, the messenger RNA reaches the ribosome where it is translated into amino acids. A chain of these amino acids known as
Polypeptide
chain form the protein.
Oh, that's cool. So, like, protein synthesis is basically the formation of proteins from amino acids.
Exactly.
Okay. And you know you can get E. coli if something goes wrong with your mRNA.
Really?
Yeah, E. coli is a nasty, nasty disease, girl.
Will it make you die?
It might. A lot of diseases can. I don't know.
That's true.
So, what do you think the biggest part of DNA is all around?
What do you mean by that, Kayla?
Like, what is the most important thing in our DNA that makes us who we are?
Well, actually, DNA all around is important because every part of DNA has something to do with either when you look like, if you have disorders, if you're a male or a female. So there's really not one important part than another, in my opinion. What about you, Kayla?
I just think that the biggest part in DNA for us is that, you know, we wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for our DNA. And what if people had never found it out? That would, you know, it'd been really cool. Like, it would be a mystery till today. But I think it's awesome that we can survive and flourish because of DNA.
So basically, DNA is a ladder in my case.
Yeah, basically. Okay, well, that's all we have for today. Thank you.